Hey everybody, get ready to enjoy yourself, settle in, we're going to have a good time. We're heading out to Caldwell, Idaho. We're going to talk to Colby Blaine. We're talking some Yote basketball. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Hey, you're really going to enjoy our visit out to College of Idaho today. Beautiful campus out in Caldwell, Idaho. First thing you have to do though is get in the car and drive, and drive, and drive, and drive, and drive. It's a very, very long trip. I got to Caldwell, Idaho. I went to the J. Albertson's Center where the Yotes play. And that's where I was going to meet Colby Blaine. Really nice facility there, that campus, and I'm going to show you more pictures in just a moment. But you can see outside that gymnasium, outside that building is beautiful. There's the gym where they win all those games. What a run they've had. Look at this trophy case. Over the past 5 years, I think arguably, and I don't know all the numbers around the country, but definitely one of the most successful programs in the NAI over the last 5 years, if not the most successful. That trophy case is just loaded up with championship trophies, conference trophies, the Mayor's Cup, and of course, see that right there in the middle coming up? Yep, that's called a national championship trophy right there, the year before last. Of course, the Yotes last year were in the Final Four, and then 2 years ago, they were in the Final Eight. Colby Blaine was an amazing host, took us around the entire campus. It was a beautiful day, as you can see. But this campus is about 1,100 kids. You'll hear Colby talk about that. But it really has a feel of a bigger campus. It's really well kept. This is a shot of the quad area, which is very nice. Now, this was first day of school, so the school had around the campus, it was a very vibrant feel, a lively feel. Everybody was very, very nice there. I really want to thank Colby and the College of Idaho for hosting us. I really enjoyed my time there, and the weather cooperated, as you can see. This is the library. This place is beautiful. We went inside there. You can see inside, very modern feel. This campus really is beautiful. That's the Marty Hawley Athletic Center. Marty Hawley was a very successful Yote coach, men's basketball coach, back a few years ago. There's a picture of him just outside the wall inside there. I remember watching him in many a battle. Now let's take a listen to Colby Blaine.
Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, I'm here with Colby Blaine, head men's basketball coach, College of Idaho. We're here in beautiful Caldwell, Idaho. It's a heck of a drive, but that's a different story. Colby, thanks a lot for taking the time.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, it's a beautiful campus here. Tell us a little bit about your campus, number of kids, how long you've been here.
Yeah, well, we've got just over 1,100 students here. We've been in college for 130 years now, but as you can see, it's bigger than you think. Got a lot of buildings on campus, a lot of newer facilities, libraries 10 years old, brand new weight room, gym's getting remodeled right now as we speak. So a lot of great stuff going on.
And you'll see some pictures of that. We're right outside the gym, so the gym is right in front of us. And then right across the street is the football stadium.
Yep.
That's going to be the center of attention for a little while. The Yotes have a really good football program too.
Yeah, made the Final Four in football last year. We've got our first night game this Saturday, which will be really fun.
So you guys are back to school, first day. You just told me everybody made it. So the first day head count's important.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, you won the national championship. Big event for the school, for your program. Last year, again, the Final Four. A great season. Yeah. And this year you got virtually everybody back. Tell me about, is the pressure harder to reach that pinnacle or every year trying to keep it up?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot, and it's a great question. To be honest with you, when we won the national championship, we were chasing a storyline from the year before. We had lost in the Elite Eight in the last 2 minutes, and we thought we had unfinished business. So we were kind of the underdogs, that whole year that we won the national championship, and we had a great storyline. I honestly believe it was a lot harder last year, which I think is what makes our success last year such a significant achievement. We still go 32-4. We still were in the final minute of the Final Four with a tied ball game. Had a chance to go to the national championship, but our storyline was completely different. The way that the community perceives you, and they just think you're going to do it again, right? And the way the pressures that you do feel, that your student athletes do feel, was much more prevalent last year than it was the year that we won the national championship.
Let's talk about that. You get just amazing support, obviously, from the student body. That student section is pretty wild, and from the community too. I mean, how do you maintain that? What are your secrets to get such great? So obviously campus support comes when you win.
Sure.
But what about the community? That's always difficult for some programs.
Yeah. Well, we led the country in attendance for the second year in a row last year with 1,507 on average in the crowd. Right. So we want to beat that this year. But I think one thing that we do a great job of, and that I'm really proud of our guys, is we pour ourselves into the community. I mean, you look at every week, we're doing something, whether it be playing a unified basketball game with the Special Olympics, which we're going to be doing here soon. We're in 13 elementary schools here in the city, right? We're going to have a teacher appreciation night here in September, where we bring in all the district employees from our high schools and our junior highs and elementary. So long story short, we are always in the community, and they reciprocate by coming to our games and cheering us on.
I was here one night. You had, I don't know what the event was, but just tons of young people from the local schools, and they all came down on the court. What was that event?
So that's our legacy program. So we go into the 13 elementary schools that are in a surrounding area here, and we encourage them to do volunteer work in the community. And if they complete their goals, they all have a certain amount of hours, then they get a free ticket to come to our game. So the night that you saw, we brought all those students down on the court to celebrate with us during the national national anthem. And they all got a free shirt. They get to come to the game for free. And so every kid you saw that night had completed volunteer work in the community.
Well, that's amazing. Kind of a twofer, because it generates a lot of interest in your program, but makes your team you and your team an integral part of the community. So staying with the community for a moment, you were just telling me some of the great things Caldwell has done with their downtown and some of their economic development. This seems like kind of a booming town that you're in right now.
Oh yeah, things are great in Caldwell. We've got a relatively new mayor, and Mayor Wagner, and he is super active. They have remodeled all of downtown Caldwell. They've got a new plaza in there, water feature for kids. They got a stage for live music. I mean, they're bringing events in here. And then the housing market, we sit on the outside of the valley here, just outside of Boise. And so as the housing market here in Idaho is, grown a ton over the last 5 years, people are moving out here into the outside of the valley. And so farmland's turning into neighborhoods here, but bringing in great families. And so there's a lot of great things going on in Caldwell.
And a lot of potential Yote fans, huh?
Yes, tons of Yote fans. We still have seats in there that people can fill up. So
as your guys start to show up, we saw a couple of them as we walked around. What is I want to talk about some of the guys, and I want to talk more about Yote basketball, but just tell me your general feeling as you start to step into this season.
Yeah, I feel great. I'm pretty fired up. I've never been a guy who tries to be pessimistic about how I think our success can be. We bring back 13 players. We bring back 9 guys that played in our rotation last year, right? We bring back 8 guys that played in the national championship game 2 years ago, right? So we have this experience, and now we have 8 seniors on our roster. So you have a very old team. We used to be really young a couple of years ago. Now we're extremely old, right? But what comes with that is just experience on how to deal with day-to-day stuff, how to deal with homework and social life, all those things, right? Nutrition, sleep. So I'm really excited, and our staff, we are committed to really enjoying every minute of this season, because we have a team that really understands what it takes, and just to have a good experience. Not, who knows how many games we're going to win, but day-to-day, how to have a good experience. We have a team that's totally bought into it.
So I know you signed several guys, a couple of them, and you might have saw this, I said on Twitter, a couple of them really caught my eyes. Utrillo out of Roosevelt, who I got to meet this morning. Roosevelt is my wife's alma mater, just for the record.
Small world.
And then Chance Winter out of Beaverton. two really premier guys out of Portland. Talk about those guys and how you won that recruiting war out of Portland with the Oregon schools.
Sure. Well, you know, we try, our recruiting is kind of a tight-knit family. It's connections, and, you know, we try to stay in places that we know. Utrillo Morris, coming out of Roosevelt, is actually the nephew of our starting point guard, Samaje Morgan, and my assistant coach,
Oh, I didn't
Manny
know
Morgan.
that. Okay.
Yes. So there's that family connection there for sure.
Okay.
So kind of cool to have them all on the same team where their whole family's coming to a game and they get to watch, you know, 3 of their family members be on our team. And then Chance Winter actually did play for the AAU program that I work with. And so I really got to know him and his family. And this was just a perfect fit. He's really into environmental biology. We have a great program for that.
You do, yeah.
We have all that stuff out here, you know, all the wilderness out here. But this is a good fit for him basketball-wise, too. He's super athletic, and he's still growing as an 18-year-old guy. But I think our system really fits him, and he's going to thrive.
So just as an example of a Yote, you and I ran into Drew Wyman. Everybody knows one of my favorite players in the conference. And he worked this summer at the hospital as a scribe. He's gearing up. He's going to graduate, and he's going to go over to a PA school. He's going to have a great, great life. Talk about, you know, it's really great to have guys come in, they play basketball, and they win games. But getting that education and having a great life afterwards has to be even more rewarding to watch.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I'm just getting to the point of my career now where I'm watching some of my former players really settle into their careers, get married, have their first kids. And so it is really rewarding to see what the results are 10, 15 years later, you know. But I tell everybody, it takes a village around here to do what we're doing on the court. And it's not just the basketball. Our professors, the academic demands are really high here. And so it really shapes our guys into who they need to be and who they want to be. And Drew's on a great path. He's going to have a really successful career as a PA. And that's been his goal since the day he signed here. He's wanted to be in the medical field, and he's this close to fulfilling it. So
you've got pretty much all your key guys back. Robinette, everybody knows Tyler Robinette, probably one of the best defensive coaches on the court that I've ever watched. He's just always talking. Tyler Robinette's back. You got obviously Drew Wyman. I don't have paper in front of me, and I'm an old man.
Sure. Stratton Rogers.
That's what I was trying to think of. Caden Handerhan.
Yep, Caden Handren's back. Samaje Morgan at the point guard. Johnny Radford's a shooter for us. We had some younger guys last year. Dougie Peoples, who came off the bench.
Who I just saw, and he cut his hair.
He did.
So he's going to shoot even better this year, isn't he?
Hopefully it's not in his eyes anymore. So, yeah. So we do have a lot back. Paul Wilson is now back again and in our grad program. So we have a 7-footer again with a lot of experience.
Wow.
So
you really do have a lot coming back, don't you? Yeah. So speaking of Drew Wyman, this is a question I wanted to ask you. So we saw him when he came in. He was super effective. He won some games for you early on, but he was really a 12-foot, 15-foot guy.
Sure. And
then all of a sudden he's like, holy cow, he's one of the best 3-point shooters in the country.
Yeah.
You know, he added a dimension to his game. So 2 questions. How important is that to a program when a guy can just add a dimension to his game?
Sure.
And is there anything you do to foster that?
Yeah, those are really good questions. Drew, his freshman year, I'm pretty sure he might have helped us win about 7 games.
Yeah, he won a lot of games.
A lot of close games his freshman year.
Deadly 12-foot turnaround.
Yeah, we got him in kind of that mid-post a lot. And then the last 2 years, he hasn't really been in that position as much as he was his freshman year. But he made a commitment to himself after his freshman year. He wanted to improve his 3-point shooting. And so he worked on it a ton in the offseason. And then the opportunities presented itself. You know, one thing, Drew benefits from having other talented players on his team, right? If he didn't have other guys to space the court and keep the defense occupied, he wouldn't get as many threes as he does get. So he really got to explore that his sophomore and junior year. You know, at the end of his junior year, he did hit the labrum in his shoulder, and so he didn't have a summer going into last year. He wasn't able to work out. So what you saw at the beginning of the year was a guy who was coming back from injury, and then at the end of the year, he really hit his stride. There was a 4-week span, I think, in February last year where he was shooting at 60%. He was important for our team.
Well, I saw him one night here. I think he hit 7 of 8 in the first half. And I asked him after the game, I said, everybody I was sitting around, I looked at him, I said, don't worry, he's not going to hit every shot.
Yeah.
And I said, I was right. You missed one.
You missed one, yeah. That might have been the OIT SOU weekend where I think he had 14 of 15 threes. But, you know, we have kind of a cool dynamic on our team. A lot of our bigs actually shoot it really well. Tyler Robinette is a pick and pop 5. Drew Wyman's a quick shot 4-man, right? And then we have some guards who like to post up. So it's kind of a cool dynamic for us where it's kind of hard to figure out, right? It's not necessarily a traditional way of scoring for a lot of teams.
Yeah. So let's talk about the conference a little bit. You know, the Cascade Conference has always been tough. It was down a couple of years ago coming out of COVID. I have a theory why that is. The Oregon schools just weren't even allowed in the weight rooms, but that's a different story.
Sure.
But the conference came back last year, lot stronger.
We beat up on each other every night too, just like every league. Some leagues have 6 teams, right? And they're all about the same talent, and so that creates a hard dynamic. But you know, of course, we want the toughest league in the country. There's no question about it. And we have, as you just experienced, long road trips that nobody else experiences, right? And we play Friday, Saturday night, back to back. But I think this, as much as we may want our league to push forward to be the #1 strength of schedule, I mean, I hear this all the time, and I'm pretty passionate about it. I'm not sure there's a conference in the country who's had more national tournament success. If you really break it down, who actually has played on the last nights. In our conference, we've had 3 different programs play in the national championship game pretty much every year since 2017-18, right? Oregon Tech's been in the national championship game. Lewis and Clark State's been in the national championship game. College of Idaho's won a national championship. And then you add in the Final Fours. So, you know, you can say, well, geez, there's a lot of difference in the conference. But at the end of the day, a Cascade team is getting to the end of the tournament every year. So that's what I take great pride in. And that's why I think we have a great conference.
Going into this season, we just keep talking about the Cascade Conference. Man, oh man, you know, Oregon Tech's going to be loaded. You know that, I know Austin's lost some guys, but you know LC State's going to be loaded. Yep. Zozelle down in at Southern Oregon is going to be tough. You know, Taylor Kelly's going to put a team together. You and I were just talking Evergreen's bringing in a bunch of new guys. Yep. What do you expect from the conference this year?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of returners in the conference. I mean, OIT's got their whole team back as well. But there is some new fresh blood. So you're going to get some new athletes. You're going to get some new size that maybe we haven't had. And I mean, I think every year the conference continues to rise to the level of the talent that we have here. And so I do think that middle of the pack, right? Maybe the 4 through 8, I think they've got some new guys coming in that could really push the envelope here. So, and then, like I said, you add in that travel and the Friday, Saturday night games, it makes it hard. So, so that's when those 4 to 8, 4 to 9 teams in the middle can really create some havoc, is because they're beating you at home. And, you know, if you're not careful, you go lose 2 games on the road.
I think that one place where the dynamic has an opportunity to change this season, you know, at Northwest, they did really, really well at the end of the year. They're big and they're strong. And then we just talked about at Evergreen, they're really recruiting heavy. That could be a much tougher trip next year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
that's all you need is another tough trip.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think the thing about our league too is we've actually had a lot of turnover, new coaching staffs. And I think, but now everybody's kind of been in there 2, 3, 4 years, and you see people kind of getting their feet under them and figuring out what they, you know, how they want to recruit and build their teams. And so, like you did see a Northwest team last year who was a really hard opponent for us at the end, gave us some great games. And they're just, you know, they've only been a staff for 2 years, so getting their feet under them. And
toward the end of the year, that group really pulled together, and I think they get most everybody back. I think if I remember right.
You bet.
So you have everybody back. You have do you have too many guys?
You can never have too many guys. That's my job, is to. I don't spend as much time.
Well, how are you going to get guys like
as
Chance Winter and Utrillo anytime on the court? You've got Samaji, you got Tyler Robinette, you got.
I think the cool thing about what we're taking pride in our program right now is we're having sustained success. Right over the course of a decade now. If you go look, the last 6 years we've won 30+ games, right, of regular seasons that have occurred. But what the formula for that is, you come in and you learn, right? So are the freshmen that we have signed, they know what they're getting into. They know there's a good senior in front of them, but they also are coming here to learn, right? And so then the senior graduates and new guys come through the ranks, and we're really in a good groove with that. So that's
and you're right. You can never. A lot of times you'll hear a coach, "Oh, I got too many guys," and pretty soon he's got 6. You know, because somebody got injured.
Correct.
This and that. Well, Colby, I really appreciate your hospitality. You gave me a great campus tour, and you're going to see a lot of that with this video. It was really worth the trip out. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we're excited. It's hoop season. If Billy D's here, it's hoop season.
And next time I'm out, we'll be packing the gym, right?
That's exactly. December 2nd, I think it's on my. It's either the 2nd or the 3rd.
I don't know the date. I know I have hotel reservations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll be fun.
That's Colby Blaine. Thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed Coach Blaine in beautiful Caldwell, Idaho. We're fixing to head up the road. We're going to go talk to Chris Kemp. He's the head men's basketball coach at Eastern Oregon. So join us on the next episode of Cascade Hoops Talk for Chris Kemp, Eastern Oregon. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Also, please like and subscribe this show wherever you watch or listen to it. It helps a lot. And if you have a question you'd like answered on the show, just send me a note at cascadehoopstalk@gmail.com or just shoot me a DM on Twitter. I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy your day. We'll see you next time. Yours truly, Billy D. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAI school because NAI basketball is the best entertainment value in America.